Everybody, just to kind of get started here. And has anybody ever heard of?
Also, if you can feel it, you can heal it. Make sure you see Dave in the book section.
Has anybody ever heard of an Ironman competition, triathlon, where they swim and they bike ride and they run like crazy distances? Okay. Is there anybody in here today that thinks they could do an Ironman? Because you know what, I don't care how old you are in this room. There's somebody that's going to be doing an Ironman tomorrow that's your age or older than you. So since I didn't see any hands, that's probably a no. But let me tell you something. What if starting today you would have the best coaching, the best equipment, the best nutrition, which probably you guys can appreciate, the time, the support. How many people think in, let's say, 3 or 4 years you could do an Ironman? If you had everything you could imagine would be an obstacle, a barrier, a wall. Is there anybody in here who thinks they might be able to do an Ironman? Yeah, okay. But I bet you everybody in here is thinking, if I wanted to, I could. Okay, but remember, take the Ironman and put that in place, replace that with any other huge challenge that you might have in your life right now. Okay? And just replace that. And think about what I just said. And now let me take it down just a really small part of that. Let's say riding a bike. Does anybody here remember when they learned how to ride a bike? Has anybody in here ever taught somebody else how to ride a bike? A daughter, a son, a nephew, a niece. Okay, you remember how that process went? The first thing they did is they kept bugging you, or you kept bugging somebody to get you on a bike, right? And then you sit them on a bike and you don't let them pedal because, you know, we don't want to just put somebody on a bike and then send them down a hill, do we? That's probably not a good idea because that'll create probably some fear. But if we put them on the bike, we put their feet up, they can put their hands on the handlebars, but you're going to hold one of the handlebars, I bet you. And then you're going to hold the seat really strong because they're going to make sure. They're going to say, you got it? And they're going to double check that. And then you're going to walk around with them on the bike. Remember that? And then maybe the next day or a couple days later, you might let them put their feet on the pedals. Okay? And then you might let them pedal a little bit, but they're double checking. They're saying, you still got the handlebar? You still got the seat? And then you might let your hand off the seat a little bit, right? And then you put it back on. You might even let the hand off the handlebar and let them kind of fool around with that. A couple days later, now you're just holding on to the seat, right? They're pedaling. Remember that? And then, who knows, maybe a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, I don't care how long. At some point, that little person, or it was you, went like this. I can do it. Remember that? I can do it. Now, to them, was riding a bike a huge obstacle, a challenge in their life? Darn right it was. It was huge. To us, it was like, oh, come on. This is easy. Anybody can ride a bike. Okay? But see, again, take any challenge you might have right now in your own life, whether it be a health challenge, wellness, relationship, a physical injury, something, anything, a job, any challenge, and put it in that same context. All right? See, because what happens is when we own the challenge, when we own the procedure, it's one step. When the challenge is fresh and big in our mind, it's 100 steps, and it's overwhelming, isn't it? It's overwhelming. All right. First of all, my name is Arnie Fonseca Jr. I have a master's in wellness, exercise science. I've been doing this stuff for 30 years. I've owned a couple of physical therapy clinics where we did neurological stuff with spinal cord and brain injury. Did a lot of work with occupational therapy, speech therapy, a lot of traumatic illnesses. My master's work was done with older folks back in the 80s when we We were just starting to learn that people could get stronger as they got older. Back, 30 years ago, they didn't think people could get stronger. After age 55. See, back then 55 was considered old when I first started. All right? So now we know that anybody can get stronger even if you're 120. I don't care how old you are, it doesn't matter anymore. We know. We know what the body will do. So that's kind of my background, all right? That's kind of my back. But here's something that's real important for today. I had a year in 2009 and 2010, calendar year, let's call it, 12 months, where I had 6 people in my life pass away, including 2 parents within months of each other, my very best friend in the whole world, people that I worked with at my clinics, okay, and other close friends that I went to school with. Are you kidding me? I don't look that old, right? So that shouldn't have happened. So I had 6 people in one calendar year, and I remember I was talking to somebody recently. I said, when I was driving, I remember it because it just started coming back to me. I was kind of preparing my mind for this talk, and I said, man, shouldn't I be cracking up about now? Isn't this when people kind of lose it? You know what I'm saying? They get depressed, and I'm like going, why is this not happening to me? Why am I not feeling like I should be, like, as they say, putting a bullet in my head? Okay. I didn't know. I wasn't sure. But I also knew that I had been working with a lot of families over the years that dealt with this, but in a different way. They didn't handle it well.